A very good morning to my lecturer and my fellow friends. Today I am going to introduce about inflation. Inflation happens when the general price level for goods and services rising continuously over certain periods and consequently the purchasing power of currency decrease. In general, inflation are classified into two types, which is demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. In Malaysia, consumer price index is used to measure inflation by Department of Statistics Malaysia. Next, I am going to give brief explanation about type of inflation. First, demand pull inflation. This inflation occurs when the demand for goods and services in an economy increases more rapidly than the economic production capacity. It creates a demand-supply gap, which higher demand and lower supply thus result in higher price. Second, cost push inflation. This inflation is a result of the increase in the price of production process. For example, an increase in labor costs or increase in the cost of raw material. This will lead to higher cost for the finished product and contribute to inflation. Now, I will going to introduce the most important index to calculate inflation, which is Consumer Price Index, or known as CPI. CPI is a measure that examines the week average of price of a basket of goods and services which consumer primarily needs. CPI is calculated by taking price change for each item in the predetermined basket of goods and averaging them based on their relative weight in the world basket. The change in CPI are used to assess price change associated with the cost of living.
A very good morning to my beloved lecturer and all my friends. Today I will deliver my presentation part regarding to the cause of inflation in Malaysia. Inflation in Malaysia. As we know, for the past few years, our nation is facing inflations instead of deflations. Price of goods and services is increased despite of decrease or maintain the same in the long run. So, what can we ask about the causes of inflation? It is due to the internal or external factors. I will discuss about this issue in the next slide. I will discuss about the causes of inflation in Malaysia from year 2009 until year 2013 only, which I have highlighted, and the second half of the part will discuss by my friends. So, generally, the graph shows that the inflation rate in Malaysia is fluctuate trend line from year 2009 until year 2018. Firstly, what causes the inflation increase so much from year 2009 until year 2011? As we know, our nation is facing financial crisis, same with other countries in year 2008. The government start to implement the expansionary policy. Expansionary policy can boost the economic activities through increase the aggregate expenditure, increase the investment, increase the government expenditure, and also increase the activity of import and export. These make the inflation issue become worse because the purchasing power of the people and consumer is decreasing. So the government start to realize, okay, the inflation issue is serious. Then to solve the issue, the government start to implement the contractionally fiscal policy, which is decreasing the government expenditure and increasing the taxes starting year 2011. Then we can see the result from the graph that the inflation rate starting to decline from year 2011 until year 2013. The year 2011 recorded 3.17% of inflation rate, and come to 2012, the inflation rate is declined to 1.66. And also, there is a slow increase of the inflation rate from year 2012 to 2013, which is increased from 1.66 in 2012 to 2.11 at 2013.
A very good morning, everyone. I am teaching from Group 8, and I'm here to present about the causes of inflation in Malaysia from year 2009 to 2018. As my group member had been discussing about inflation rate from year 2009 to 2013, I will continue with the rest, which is the inflation rate from year 2014 to 2018. As you can see from the graph and table, the inflation rate in year 2014 showed a rise, which was 2.11% in 2013 and 3.14% in 2014. The inflation rate increased as the cost of production increased when the oil price climbed up. On the other hand, there was a remarkable drop of inflation rate in year 2015, which is from 3.14% in 2014 to 2.1% in 2015. This remarkable drop may be caused by the decrease of production costs. When it came to year 2016, the inflation rate increased to 2.8%, which was an insignificant movement. This was due to the moderately drop of interest rate in 2015 to 2016. This caused the rise of demand and level of price of Malaysia increased slowly. Otherwise, the inflation rate in 2017 increased dramatically to 3.8%. Which rose as much as 1.78%. The causes was the rise in transport costs. According to the Star newspaper, the inflation rate rose as the transport costs climbed on higher fuel prices. So the price level of goods and services increased significantly. However, there was a big change of movement in year 2018. In 2018, the inflation rate decreased to 0.97%, which dropped as much as 2.99%. The cause of reduction was the scrap of GST in 2018. According to the research, the removal of indirect tax would cause the drop of inflation rate. So, this was the main cause of the price level to drop rapidly in the year. Okay, this is all from my part. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Adnan bin Anwar. My number is 271372. So today I'm going to discuss with you all about the effect of inflation. So based on the report, I got 4 points, which is the effect of distribution of income and wealth, the effect of production, the effect of income and employment, and the reduced purchasing power. So we're going to talk about the first point, which is the distribution of income and wealth. As we know, the meaning of inflation, which is increasing the price, the gradually, which is continuously increase. So which is for the richer, they are going to be more richer, but for the poor, they were going to be poor. So that's all about the first point. So let's continue to the next point, which is the effect of reproduction. So as we know that every company will increase their production if the price is increasing. So in this point, when there is inflation in our country, so every company will increase their production, but they cannot reach, because they already reached the level maximum of the employment. Because of that, it will affect your production. So that's all about the second point. So let's continue for the third one, which is the effect of income employment. So inflation will tend to increase the aggregate money income, which is the national money, but eventually the real income fail to increase, which is the proportionately due to fall in the purchasing power of money. So which is we're going to discuss to the next point, which is the four points. The fourth point, which is the reduce of purchasing power. As we know, the inflation is the price gradually increasing continuously. So for our money, is still the same. So but the price is getting higher and higher. So if as we know, as example for now, if we go to the Tesco right now, if we're going to buy for 50 ringgit, there's just only a few things that we can buy. But unfortunately, if we go back to before 20 years or 10 years before, if we go to the Tesco or the mall or shopping mall or supermarket, if we bring only 50 ringgit, we can buy more things than right now. So this is the example of the inflation, which is reduce the purchasing power. So that's all from me for the effect of inflation. So I'm going to wish to everyone that stay home, stay safe, and take care yourself. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and let's continue to the next part, which is for the one member. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Good morning to my lecturer and my friends. Today, I want to present the solution of inflation. So, our group decided to use the 3 policies to overcome the inflation, which is fiscal policy, monetary policy, and the supply side policy. First, the fiscal policy. To overcome inflation when aggregate demand exceeds aggregate supplies, so government need to use the fiscal policy, which is government spending decrease and increase the tax. So when the tax increase, government spending decrease, the disposable income and consumer will decrease. Thus, the aggregate demand will decrease until aggregate demand equal to aggregate supplies, and inflation is overcome. Secondly, monetary policy. Government need to use this policy, which is increase the discount rate. When discount rate increase, the cost of borrowing will increase too.
So the commercial bank only can borrow less from FED. This is due to the money supply and total investment will decrease too. Thus, when the total expenditure decrease, the issue of inflation will overcome. For the last one, policy is supply side policy. Government need to use this policy to overcome inflation, which is they will decrease tax of input, so the value of production will decrease. Therefore, firm will decide increase the output and the supply of aggregate will increase while the output is increased. So this policy will help decrease the cost push inflation and overcome the issue of inflation. That's all. Thank you.
So, in conclusion, high inflation rate decline consumers' purchasing power and slow down the economic growth that in contrast to one of the macroeconomics goals, which is high economic growth. Moreover, unusual high inflation rate should be aware and be solved by government's policy to assure price stability, which is also one of the macroeconomics goals. Government must identify type of inflation and determine which policy to be conducted to execute high inflation rate. That's all for us. Thank you.